I remember going to the physio in about February of this year for shin splints in my leg. And what shin splints are is basically imagine you're running and you get this weird clenching pain in your shin that could range from being super mild, where you're just feeling like a little rub, a little nudge, to full blown numbness where you can't even stand on your feet and you might fall down because that's how weak your legs feel. For me, I went to the physio for the latter part, where my legs were hurting so bad from workouts I couldn't keep myself standing. They diagnosed me pretty quickly and told me, you're going to have to stay off of running. You're not going to be able to compete in the indoor season. Rather, you're going to have to focus on cross training, physio exercises. Hearing that and going home, I sat down in my room and just thought, my dreams of being a track and field athlete, my dreams of training with the team, performing with the team, just being an athlete almost seemed like they were crushed, right? Like stomped underfoot, that I couldn't be the person I wanted to be anymore. And I felt bad for a little bit, I'll be honest. It didn't feel great hearing that I couldn't run anymore. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized like I had two options. That yeah, my indoor season was shot. I couldn't do anything in that anymore. But the outdoor season was still there. And I had two options with what I wanted to do with my time. Where one, I could make the excuses, where I could just do the same thing I'd always done. Miss days, be inconsistent, tell myself, dude, I don't feel like training today. Besides, I'm not even going to be running. What's the point in putting in the effort? I could do that. And I'd done that for years at that point anyways. Or I could use this as an opportunity to test myself. To finally just not make any excuses. To actually just push myself a bit further than what I was used to. And just show up every single day and do the simple things like doing the physio and training on the bike. I had nothing to lose, and I was sitting in my room feeling very, very comfortable. So obviously, I chose the more difficult option of choosing the bike, choosing to do my physio, and doing it daily. And the streak started from there. From February to March, April, May, June, July. I trained every single day except Sundays with some form of cardio, and I did physio almost every single day. And when the streak started, it seemed like any other time when you make like a New Year's resolution, you say, I'm going to show up to the gym every single day this year, and you inevitably fail. For me, this was the opposite. I set myself a resolution, a goal, and I just showed up and started doing it. The number one thing for me in that realization, in that choice, was that I just didn't have to make any excuses. I could have said that I didn't want to do it, I couldn't do it, but I knew in reality that I was just making an excuse. That I could just tell myself, I'll train on the bike, I'll do it, I'll do whatever I can. And because of that, I actually started making progress. Every single workout had like a clear cut goal in mind of me telling myself, I'm not making an excuse. I'm going to put in my best effort to work towards my goal of being the track athlete, of being the person I know I could be. It was just pure accountability. And for that period of 6 months, it was the best I ever felt. Right? Just going out, training, being so sweaty, so disgusting by the end of every single workout, yet still having a huge smile on my face because I just did the work. I just did it even though I didn't want it to on some days. Where I had that voice in my head. I had that thing telling me, you shouldn't do this, bro. Take a day off. It's not worth it anyways. And ignoring that voice and doing it anyways. Maybe it sounds silly, but the point I'm trying to make is those excuses I had, those excuses I could have made, those were just my thoughts. They weren't actually who I was. That it's like somebody whispering in your ear. Just because they tell you something doesn't mean you have to do it. Just because they tell you something doesn't mean you have to listen to it. Those are the same things with excuses, in my opinion. Because in that duration of 6 months, showing up to the gym, ignoring the excuses. For the first 2 months, it was difficult. I showed up every single day at my house, looked in my mirror and told myself, you aren't as good as you think you are. You're going to have to do this again tomorrow. You can't quit right now. You can't give up right now. You don't have an option if you want to train in the outdoor season, if you actually want to run again on your feet. And for me, those 2 months of actually just getting up and doing something new, it was like magical. I don't even know how to describe it because I'd never been that consistent before in my entire life. Right? I just stopped making excuses. I stopped telling myself I was lazy. Days I didn't want to go on a run, I just told myself, or not a run, a bike. I just told myself, dude, You're going to go do the training. You're going to show up and you're going to work out. You don't have an option. You can't say no to this. And just telling myself that every single day, I left myself no option but to just do the work. After about 2 months, the voice fell away. That thing telling me, hold back, don't do it. It just kind of gave up and let me do the work for the duration of the season. By the time I finished, looking back, I felt so grateful that I just took accountability. That I stopped trying to be the person I wanted to be. I stopped trying to chase the standard of what I need to do. And I just did it. I just became the person who would get the result that I wanted, which was showing up every day, being consistent, being the person who would get the result, being the person who just pursued their goal, who didn't make excuses, and it happened. Am I saying I'm perfect at this? Am I saying that I never make excuses and I always do every single action from point A to point B? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying though is, for me, my story of just not making excuses, of just showing up, it worked. I put myself out there. I ignored that voice in my head that has cropped up so many times in my life. From making a YouTube video, to sitting down and meditating for like the first time, showing up and writing for like 3 months straight without missing a day. Consistency, action, working towards that person you want to be. It just starts with not making excuses and being accountable of where you are at, what you need to do to become the person you want to be, and then bridging that gap with action. There's really nothing else. What goals do you have set out, right? Like, write down 3 things, 3 goals that you want to achieve. 3 things that are really, really important to you. For me, that's like writing a novel, creating like 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and getting 1 minute 55 seconds for the 800 meter. Those would be my 3 goals. Now from there, all I need to do is write down a list of everything I need to avoid, everything that I need to do. The things that I avoid, I cut them out of my life. The things that I need to do, I do them every single day. And if the excuse or the thought comes in telling me, dude, I can't do that today, I don't feel like doing it, the answer is always just, I have to find a way. There is no other option. There are no days off from me pursuing my goal. It sounds extreme, it sounds hard, but it doesn't have to be necessarily. Because if you just persist, if you just do the thing, it's like when you first brush your teeth, when you first learn how to walk, of course it's difficult. Of course it is hard and you may not want to do it. But after a while, you just get used to it. It's easy as breathing, and you feel good because of it, right? If you did all that hard work, if you made no excuse and you just worked on your goals, worked on the things that are important to you, wouldn't it feel good to have a good result afterwards? To look at yourself and think, wow, I didn't make any excuses. That was extremely difficult. I didn't want to do it today. I'm sleeping late tonight, but I finished my tasks. I did what I needed to do, and that feels awesome. Would you not like to say that to yourself? And I'm not saying this as a master. Definitely not. I've been making excuses recently in my life. I have been inconsistent. I have missed days. I'm making this video as accountability to myself, but also just sharing my own story for what worked for me, for what actually got me out of a rut in about February, and what I'm going to start doing again, starting now. Big words, I got to back it up with action. But remember, no matter how bad things get, no matter how difficult the task in front of you may seem, don't make excuses. Take accountability. Live like you are the person you want to be. Stop chasing an illusory ideal. Stop thinking that you need to do all these things to become a better person. Start by being that person right now. Live that life. Be the person and change who you are for the better. So, thank you for watching. This video is a bit rougher than my usual videos, but I'm making one. I'm putting it out there. This is me not making any excuses for not releasing a video today. So thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like this content, because more is coming, alright? More is coming. Road to 1,000. Peace.